So there was a Q&A session with Gregg Berhalter discussing the 2021 Concacaf Gold Cup draw, and we drew Canada and a country I never heard of. But we're going to learn more about it. So let's read. This is from ussoccer.com. So Gregg Berhalter discusses the 2021 Gold Cup draw. After learning the U.S. men's national team would be grouped with Canada and Martinique. I don't know. Who's Martinique? It's like a small island. It's French speaking. Martinique. Let's go to the wiki and find out. So this is who they are. The Martinique national football team, French, meaning Équipe de la Martinique de Football, represents the French Overseas Department and region of Martinique and international football. The team is controlled by the Liga de Football de la Martinique. English, it's Martinique. So on the 7th of August, 2010, the national team adopted the nickname Les Martininos, which pays tribute to the history of the island. So this is a small island, and how they fared. Let's see. Their last competition as a national team, they tied Trinidad and Tobago 1-1, tied them again 2-2. Honduras, they lost 1-0, and tied Honduras. That's their 2019 matches. So they're not bad. They compete, and they've been not in the CONCACAF much, but they got in this time, and we drew them. So that'll be interesting to see what exactly they're going to pose. You imagine us not getting out of the group, which is possible because we'll not take them serious, and they're going to come light us up, and we're not going to know how to deal with them. But don't worry, Gregg Berhalter has a plan for us. So reading on, with the Gold Cup, CONCACAF Nations League, the start of the World Cup qualifying, and potentially the U23 men's national team at the Olympics next summer. How are you planning to juggle all these competitions next year is the question asked to Gregg Berhalter, king of nepotism. My brother works out and we pay for it, $175 a month, because he makes $800,000 a year. His brother requested, I need $175 in addition to the $800,000 I'm making to pay for my gym membership because I want to get ripped. So the Berhalters are talking right now. I'm sidetracking from this article because I'm so frustrated that we are paying this. And this needs to stop. Why do we allow this? I'm going to start a petition. We got to start a petition. We have to stop paying membership dues for gyms for anyone that makes over for anyone that works for U.S. Soccer. We shouldn't be paying for that. And it's not fake news. It's real. I did a whole segment on this showing the tax filings on U.S. Soccer's website showing that we pay for Berhalter and who is the other thief? What's his name? Flynn. Prick. Flynn needs it too. And they both make well over $750,000. Flynn actually makes more. He makes like $875,000. Don't quote me. Give or take $25,000. And then Berhalter, the older brother, who hooked up Gregg. Also, Jay Berhalter hooked up Gregg to get this job because we're still paying for our last national team coach. So we're like, hey, Gregg will do it for nothing. And nothing is a lot. Too much. But let's get back to the article and what Gregg is actually going to do for us. And I'll stop. Obviously, I'll stop it a lot, but I'll stop it where Gregg really just shows us his true colors of his ignorance of not changing. I read on. Here's Gregg's answer to the question that you probably already forgot. He was talking about how do you juggle all these things with the U23's men's national team going to the Olympics and planning, how you can juggle all this competition. This is how he's going to do it. There are a lot of competitions, and what that means is that there's a lot of opportunity for players. It's an opportunity for them to show they belong. that they should be part of the first team. No matter what competition we're in, every time the player steps on the field, they prove that they can wear the jersey, that they can be a part of this group, the squad, whatever that may be. Oh, he's such a good presidential candidate. He should have been on the debates last night with Biden and Trump, who just ruined TV. I was all excited about that. It was a nightmare. I don't even want to talk about it. It was horrible. It was a disgusting display of everything. I just was so mad. I'm like, this is what we got. These two idiots, freaking ridiculous, speaking. They shouldn't be allowed to speak. Anyways, I read on. The Concacaf Gold Cup represents the premier tournament in our confederation, and it's a chance to win a trophy. Woo! This is a young team that hasn't won a trophy yet, so we're certainly going to be trying to accomplish that in this tournament. Sweet. Next question for Gregory. How are you planning to deal with the clubs and players to get them in for all the different competitions next year? Well, this is what Greg says. It's going to be about the communication. So when I text people or I ring them up or I send a little snap, say, hey, you playing? It's going to be about networking. It's going to be looked at a lot of different players. It's going to be juggling some players in certain cases. Next year's represents a chance to win 2 trophies with the Nations League and the Concacaf Gold Cup, and then to get a really good start in qualifying. It looks like we're going to be playing 8 games of qualifying in 2021. That's a big chunk of games that we can make a dent and start to reach some of our goals in qualifying for the World Cup. Next question. How difficult is it going to get players released from their clubs for the different competitions? And that is a great question, and that's what makes it very difficult to coach the U.S. men's national team. It's not about, we're so good because, you know, the players we got now, you know. Who do we? Sergio Dest. He might be with Barcelona. We got the Chelsea number 10. We're gonna rock and roll with that. It's not enough, people. We need 50 players in every position. Okay, how about 10? 10 positions. Or 10 players that could play any position on the field for us. Coach Cameron, we have that. No. Real players. We can't. We are 3 injuries from being embarrassed and not making the World Cup again. Oh, wait. Are we automatic qualifiers? No, not this one. Yeah. We're that close. And the way things are going in Chelsea land, our number 10 is injury prone. So he can't even make all the games of the World Cup as of right now. We need more talent. We don't have a strong enough talent pool. I move on. So Greg says this. When you think about getting the whole group together, here he goes. This is what I told you. When we get the whole group together, we'll have an opportunity in March to do that. We'll have an opportunity in June to do that. And then the Gold Cup could be an opportunity. And then it's a qualifier. Then it's the qualifiers. Either way, it's still looking at players' workload and their schedule. We have to be mindful of that. That's really important in the whole process. We certainly want to get our group together. We want to get our group playing together before qualifying. So what's going on is Greg really feels, and it gets worse as I go on, he feels by getting them together and they understanding my system, we're going to have greatness. No, that's not how, you know how it works? Your job, which is difficult, is to find players that can actually play the game, put them in the right position, play simplistic soccer, let talent do what they do, and don't confuse the talent with your little crazy schemes of, we're going to play out of the back, we're going to play a 4-4-2, but we're going to play with the diamond and then transition into a 4-5-1, depending on the pitch we're going to play in, and we're going to attack out of the back, but sometimes we're going to change when I do this, and then I start doing the sign language stuff. We're going to transition to a wide back system. We're going to invert everything instead of playing the 4-3-3 like the women do. We're gonna play a 3-3-4. Play 4 forwards, and we're gonna do some dynamic stuff because we're a team. Too much. Let the professionals do the job. Watch them play. Put them in position, and leave them alone. And sit your butt down. You complicate things. I've learned to do that. I used to be a Gregg Berhalter a long time ago. I used to coach too much, thinking I had some super set play. Actually, my set plays are legit. I had some super tactics. Tactics don't work. Talent works. Manage it. Manage their performance, but put it on the players. Let them think. It's very simple. Can you go forward? Can you score right away? You can't. Can you get someone that can score, and then you can possess how you see how they're dealing with you? You can't say we're playing this way. You don't know what they're going to do to you. You need thinkers on the field, and let them think. That's how you roll. See, I should be the men's national team coach. No doubt, because I'd stay out of the guys' way. I'd select the best talent, put the best people around me. I can find that talent, let them work out the deals to make sure they're able to play for you, and leave them alone. That's all you have to do. Leave them alone. Let talent be talent. But we don't have enough talent, so big troubles for us. Next question. If the U23 men's national team does qualify for the Olympics, how do you balance guys who are trying to fight into the senior team and could use Gold Cup as a place to prove themselves for World Cup qualifying? Answered by Greg. Well, first, I would go to the gym, borrowing my brother's gym membership card, because I'm a Berhalter, he's a Berhalter. We kind of look alike, and I can get in. It's $175. I get my massage on, I get in the heat room, and then I'll make my decision. No, what he really says is this. It's not cut and dry. It's not clear. You talk about an opportunity for young players to go to the Olympics and compete for the medals, or for the medal. It's a tremendous honor. It happens every 4 years. It's going to come down to working really closely with the U23 men's national team, Jason Kreis, who used to be, he was the Real coach. Good job, Jason, getting out of there. Smart move. Stay away from Utah Real. The woke crowd are trying to kill everybody. They just fired the. I gotta do a podcast on this. I want to do a podcast right after that. After this one, to talk about the Utah Royals head coach is fired. Why? Because he's sexist and a racist. I think something like that. They're all screwed. They're not gonna let go. That's how the woke left behaves. They're going to call you out, make up crap, take your job, and then they're going to kill everyone that's affiliated with you. That's how they roll. Reading on. Jason Kreis, looking at our player pool, looking at the workload of the guys and trying to make the best decision possible. We won't get everyone right. I know that, but by and large, we'll want to make a really good decisions to make sure every team has an opportunity to win a trophy, and and that we're also being mindful of the players have been doing. Okay, not a difficult question. That's why you need a huge pool. We don't have enough technical players in this country, as much as we should. Actually, we probably do. We just choose not to develop them, pay to play. All right, moving on. Next question. Does it feel odd to think about how long it's been since the U.S. men's national team has been together? And certainly that comes with this time period. Answer. Part of the uncertainty is what we are dealing with in our everyday lives. Nothing feels certain anymore. That's just something we have to adapt to. We have to be flexible, and we have to make the best possible decision with the information we have, and we have to play. When we plan, he's a planner. If something doesn't go our way, or we have to use an alternative plan and keep going, because you know about Greg, he has like 52 plans. To stop that real quick. So when I was a young coach, when I was coaching at Olive Free High School, I kid you not, I worked so hard putting these tactics in and stuff, and I totally ruined that team. They're heavy Hispanic. They could have just played, and I just got in their way. I developed, kid you not, the flux capacitor. Back to the Future was still rock and rolling back then. I came up with a flex capacitor offense where, the flex capacitor had like kind of triangle, and we would focus on the first and second, third run, and I named it flex capacitor. I was trying to use imagery with how I want their runs. It was devastating. I was horrible. Still am. And that's when I realized it's not the flux capacitor. It's the ability to say less and allow talent to just be talent and manage emotions, manage the number of kids that are going to get arrested and all that stuff. And you know what I'm talking about. Every manager's job is a little bit different depending on your personnel. But Gregg's going to get into his secret tactics very soon. Very excited about that. Next question for Gregg. How is coaching staff functioning right now? Here we go. This is when it gets good. As a staff, we're in the office twice a week, Wednesday and Thursday, but Monday is used for scouting individually, which makes sense. We're also assigned to watch players. Good. We have a ton of players in the MLS, a ton of players in Europe, all playing, and we're watching them carefully. Tuesday is when we have a call and we recap all the performance of the players. This all makes sense because you have to come up with, lost my screen. You have to come up with a poll and make sure they're healthy. And, I would imagine the difficult part with the U.S. men's national team is having a strong enough player pool, but also dealing with who's hurt, what contracts you're dealing with, and how much it's going to cost to get players to come, to be paid. You have to pay players, but now they're going to have that whole equal pay kind of thing with, Megan Rapinoe's in the offices in Chicago, just like, you can't pay him that. So then you can't get all the best players. That has to be tough. That's the difficult part. That's where I probably wouldn't do well. Megan Rapinoe would just destroy me. She would just beat me down with all my screaming I would have with her. Just about, I have to pay him this much or we can't get him, you goofball, because if he gets hurt with us, it costs more money. Oh, wait, pay me more. Yeah, I shouldn't get into that. Goes on and says, then Friday, we have another call to the end of the week. On the weekend, we're watching games again. Oh, they work so hard. It's a cycle where you would like to have the tension of preparing for an opponent, preparing for a team to play, and picking a squad. But unfortunately, we don't have that at the moment, so we have to make what is best. Just kidding. Where is that part? All right. Because it gets into how he's going to get super tactics. I'm very excited about it because I can read in between lines. The question is, with the extra time you have, Gregory, how is your approach to coaching evolving? Here it is. Ding, 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 ding. It's challenging, he says. You've become a coach in theory now and not in reality. That's a challenging part of it. It's about studying now, watching trends of the game, watching the teams, watching what teams are doing, watching our players really carefully. You can still be productive, but we're not getting the reps on the field and we're not getting the game reps. In terms of studying the game, you can still do that with plenty of video. I think the most important thing is still keeping current on the player pool and knowing exactly what they have been doing. This last statement was correct. That's all he should be doing. He should be paying attention to the teams, the teams his players are playing on, and just make sure they're okay and they're focused and available, and you can actually pay for it. Yeah, that's. Some players wouldn't do it. They're like, I'm not going to go hurt myself with the U.S. men's national team under Gregg Berhalter system of knocking the ball in the back and me getting destroyed by Alphonso Davies running down the sideline, after I lost the ball and, him just make my life miserable. No, I'll lose my next contract, be embarrassed, trying to play on the back with average players. What he said that bothered me most is the the studying now, watching the trends of the game, watching the teams are doing. I guess he's just saying whatever he needs to say to get through this interview to justify his job and his next barter agreement he's going to make with U.S. Soccer so he can get the gym membership. So, yeah, the thing is he needs to stop focusing on repetition with the team and all. And I get you have to have some cohesive, nature to the team and build it. But you don't need that much time with talent. Focus on getting the right talent and focus on you screaming at the youth coaches of the world that reside in the United States. And I say of the world because we have so many foreigners dictating to our kids as far as how to play. And, of course, they're also causing problems that I don't even want to talk about on this podcast because it's inappropriate. Next question. With a compact schedule, we're seeing more players get valuable minutes this season in the MLS. Who has caught your eye? Greg says, with these opportunities, these players are going to be faced with challenges that they are going to have to rise to or succumb to. You see a lot of players rising to the occasion and rising to the challenges. It wasn't that common that such young players were playing in the MLS. You look at Moses Neiman from the DC United, and you look at Kevin Paradis, Griffin Yao. Those are good examples of players making good impact on the league. Other players as well. Brendan Arison, obviously is an established player at his age, and Mark McKenzie has been doing a fantastic job. It's just keeping track of these guys. These player pools that we're scouting right now is expanded, and we want to make sure we're getting every guy who has opportunity to play. It's just been fun to watch them. Good, healthy statement, not trashing MLS. He's being very political. This is why I'll never get a job beyond where I'm at, because I just talk. And a lot of it just doesn't make sense. But I'm passionate. Moving on. Last question. Canada head coach John Herdman said the National League's game last fall helped ignite the rivalry between the U.S. men's national team and Canada rivalry. Well, I guess it started. You got to beat them to start a rivalry. How do you see the rivalry that is developing with Canada? That is a great question. Seriously, that's a great question. This is what Greg says. The thing is, even prior to the game in Canada last October, I was saying to the media that this is a very good generation of players that they have. Why is a good question. Why? Why is that? We need to know. I need to know. I need to research that. It's a really good time for Canadian football. Alphonso Davies is obviously spearheading that effort. But then you look at Jonathan David, who is a nice young player. You look at Lucas Cavallini, who is an excellent player. You look at Richie Larrier and what he's been doing. You look at Scott Arfeld, who's really good soccer player. And you look at Jonathan Osorio, Mark Anthony Kay is an excellent player. It's a really good team, but I've said that all along. They have talent. For them, it's about putting together and competing as a team. They've been shown to be making progress on that. They were two challenging games when we played them. They kicked our butt up in Toronto, and we beat them pretty good in Orlando. And we're looking forward to playing them in the Gold Cup because we know it's going to be a really competitive game. Great statements by Greg all around. Good job. But we know he's in Chicago avoiding bullets because murder is everywhere in Chicago. He's coming up with a game plan of how to play the perfect system and all this stuff, and he's with his X's and O's, and he needs to stop. Just be the ambassadors, make good statements like you've been making, stay political, don't be like me, and just leave the talent alone and let the talent kind of lead. Don't do your kumbayas, we're going to sleep in the same rooms and choose their bunkmates. It's just, come on. Just let them be them. And best of luck in the Gold Cup. This is Coach Cameron, and I'll be back shortly. I'm on all the time. 8, 10, 12, 2, 6. I'm stepping it up. See you soon.